You ready? Oh. Oh.
You ready to start it?
Yes, you ready? You want to say it?
No, you go ahead.
Well, what's going on, everybody? Trey wanted me to tell you. When was that? Last night? Last night, Monday night, 11 o'clock. I got the craps and puking bug from hell. Is what I got basically. It was went to bed. What time were we in bed?
Well, you started right before we went to bed. You went to the bathroom like twice.
Oh yeah, like around 10 o'clock, I got just straight like the gummy bear video, straight diarrhea, the runs, nothing solid was coming out. I'm like, okay, well this is kind of weird. Did it like 2 or 3 times before bed.
Yep.
And then we went in there, went to bed, and my stomach started hurting like almost like we did a hot video. It was cramping real bad, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I go back in there and go to the bathroom, start crapping. Like, okay. And then my stomach never started to feel better. It was really weird. So then I go back into bed and it's hurting again, and I started getting the sweats laying in bed. I'm like, man, this is weird. I went in there to the bathroom, and I just stood above the toilet and looked at it. I'm like, wow, this is... I don't know when the last time I puked was from being like I can't even
Drunk video. One of the
yeah, drunk.
videos,
But
maybe
I don't remember the last time I puked being sober, like being sick.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. So I'm standing there and I feel my mouth start watering. I'm like, what? So I kind of burp a little bit, and I puke. Jared didn't know what it was called, but it's goulash. It's like, you know, tell him what it is.
It's just like a different form of spaghetti, just with elbows. You make it with macaroni elbows instead of spaghetti.
Yeah. So I only eat once a day. I do the 24-hour fasting, so I normally stuff myself at dinner just to make it the whole next day.
Well, he regretted that.
Golly, all that goulash came back up, and it was splattering all over my legs because I'm standing up. I guess I should have just got down on the ground.
Probably should have kneeled, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm standing splattering all over my legs. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Uh-oh.
And then I could start feeling my stomach again. So then right after I puked, I sat down and crapped. I'm like, man, get in the shower. And then my stomach was actually relieved for a minute. The pain went away. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be able to go to sleep. So I go in there and go to sleep. It's like clockwork. An hour later, get back up, stomach's hurting again, go in there and crap. I'm like, oh my gosh. Stand up, look at the toilet, start puking again. I did that from 11 o'clock till 5:30 this morning. It's unbelievable. But, so anyways, long story short, that's why, long story long, I guess it would be called.
Yeah, for you.
Long story long, it didn't work out today because I don't want Trey getting it. I tell you what, that right there is like 10 times worse than having COVID for me. I mean, it was a horrible experience. Leave it at that.
Yeah.
And then look at her puking.
No, she's just slobbering.
Oh.
She spit her cracker out.
But, okay, yeah, so that's why
Trey's avoiding us.
Yeah, so that's why Trey's not over here, because I don't want to get him sick, because that's horrible. But, so, when was it? How old was she?
She's about 4 or 5, maybe.
4 or 5 or something. So, Mom and Dad have had Milo for, I guess, 8 or 9 years?
Almost 8 years, yeah.
Almost 8 years.
Or 8 years.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And Milo, for some reason, he acted a little weird towards like delivery people or somebody coming in the yard. When you start walking away, he started biting at your ankles and stuff. But he never did anything to adults. So when 4 or 5, so I guess like a year or 2 after we were together, a year or 2 after we were together, Milo almost did the same exact thing to Lexi. I guess it was the same thing on the lip.
Yeah, but he cut all the way through her. Yeah.
It didn't go all the way through her.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah. So Milo bit Lexi, and that happened, and it's the most awkward situation in the world because it's like, I don't know how to explain it. You know, you have your in-depth dog lovers, and then you have your people that are, how do you say that right? Like extreme kid lovers that will kill dog. You know what I mean?
No, they're not extreme kid lovers. That there are people that go crazy about their dogs, and then there are people that treat them as animals, not as children.
So it's both ends of the spectrum. You know, it's mom and dad's dog, and it's a you know, it's a
touchy subject.
yeah, it's their baby.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
just,
not your mom's baby.
it's
so
my dad's baby. So it's just real hard. So fast forward to when the baby was born. The dog never messes with grown adults ever.
Never.
Like any of us over there.
Or teenagers. It's just little people. He don't like kids. He just doesn't like kids.
Yeah. So when was that? Last week? What day was that? Last week?
Yeah. So it was the
Thursday?
week before last, wasn't it?
It was last week.
Oh, okay. So I think it was like Monday or Tuesday.
Maybe Monday or Tuesday. It was one day last week.
Oh no.
We started to work out over there, and Mom calls Trey, and she's crying, and I didn't hear it, the conversation, and then Trey asked how she was and all that kind of stuff. She hangs up. He's like, "Hey, run over and check on Lakelynn. The Milo bit Lake." So I'm like, "Oh my gosh." So I go over there, and it looked pretty bad in person. I've never really experienced that yet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain that. Was seeing her, you know, she was doing the squall and scream and all that kind of stuff, screaming, and then Mom and Dad were upset. I'm like, oh my gosh, how in the world am I gonna break this to Amy? Because she was actually editing a video. So then I walked over to the house, and I guess Amy's just experienced with kids or something, because I walked over and tell her. She asked how bad was it, and didn't freak out, didn't have a you know, call the helicopters in and all that stuff. We walked over, and she picked the baby up and stood over there and got her to calm down. And we did have, maybe I'll use the thumbnail for the picture or something, but
I can put a couple pictures in too. I have pictures of it
oh, you want to do that?
up close. Yeah, I can put a couple pictures.
Okay, well, she's gonna put the pictures in now. All right, now you saw the pictures.
We didn't have to stop talking though.
But so it was, I was freaked out because I didn't know how bad it was or whatever. And Mom had blood on her shirt from holding the baby while she was screaming.
She was upset.
And everybody was upset, and it was a bad situation. So, you know, you know, Dad came up with this decision to get rid of the dog, and we didn't want the dog to you know, get taken to the pound and get put down or any of that kind of stuff. We wanted to just kind of what's that called? Another family adopt him?
We wanted to rehome him.
Yeah, with an older couple maybe that didn't have kids, or their kids were grown or something like that.
They don't have babies running around.
Yeah, other than the kid thing, he peed in the house every once in a while, but he was fine.
Yeah.
And he liked to pee on crap on the floor and stuff, but he was fine. So Trey posted him on Facebook, and is that how it worked? Got reached out? Is that how that worked?
Yeah.
And couple different people were interested, and I think a couple from
West Virginia.
Virginia.
Around that area, but I think they live in Kentucky.
What? They're from West Virginia, but what do you mean?
I think they were from, like, your mom said they were from somewhere down toward, like, I can't remember where she said now.
West Virginia?
Yeah, somewhere around West. That's
somewhere between West Virginia and California. These people came, and they seem like normal people. And we talked. Trey talked to them. I was inside because they were working down in the basement. Talked to them and seemed like normal people, and you know, didn't seem bad. But it's a bad situation all the way around, because it's, you know, if like Hoss, you know, he's like another. He's not to Amy, I don't think he is, but to like me, he's a, you know, like a family member.
Yeah,
you know?
he is to me too.
It's just
I'm not as much of an animal person as you are.
But I don't like to, you know, I don't know how to. It's just a horrible situation with when you involve somebody else's dog, and you know they you know, talking about getting rid of the dog and stuff. But I just didn't want it to, you know, affect everybody's relationship.
So can I tell them exactly what happened? Because they're gonna wonder, did she do something to the dog to force it?
Oh yeah, you know.
So what happened is Shari, which is Lakelynn's grandmother,
My mom, yeah,
and Lakelynn were sitting on. They have a sofa in like an extra living room, and that's where Shari sits and watches TV. And she had Lakelynn on the couch with her, and Milo was on the end of the couch, and it was Lakelynn and Shari. Lakelynn was standing up in front of the couch. Lakelynn threw something on the floor. Shari bent over to pick it up, and in that
also,
time,
Milo was at her lip level.
So
okay.
By the time Shari got back up from picking the toy up off the floor, Milo had bit her. It was that quick. It was no neglect. There was no, Lakelynn didn't grab at him. He just literally is not a kid-friendly dog. They're just like humans. They have temperaments just like us. There are humans that don't like kids, and there are dogs that don't like kids. And there are dogs that don't like adults. There are humans that don't like adults. But not to get too deep into it, she had done nothing to the dog. Not saying that she should have. I'm just saying that there was no reason for Milo to bite her. And that was the same situation with Lexi, 6 years ago. There was no reason for Milo to bite Lexi. He just he could reach her face and he bit her. Milo has actually came over to our yard as well.
Oh, yeah. How did that, was that when Hoss got out or he came over?
No, Hoss was laying in the front yard and Milo got out of his yard. Because Milo is in his yard with an electric...
what do you call that, boundary fence thing or whatever?
Yeah. So Milo came out of his yard into our yard and he
bit Hoss through his lip.
Bit him all the way through his lip.
Bit Hoss through his lip, and Hoss didn't do anything. He should have just bit down and snapped his head off.
No. Hoss just does not have the temperament of, he just doesn't want to hurt nobody.
But it still makes you, it still worries you a little bit. Like last night, as right before I got sick, Lakelynn was sitting on
Here.
Lakelynn was sitting on the floor with Hoss, and she was grabbing out his face and stuff and laughing. She's playing, but she doesn't know how hard she squeezes sometimes, and she's squeezing his face, and it makes you a little nervous because I just don't want anything like that to happen because it's just a bad situation.
It's a bad situation,
because I don't want to get rid of Hoss, and obviously we're not going to get rid of the baby, and it's just it's a bad deal because I'm an animal lover and I'm both way around, so it's just a little bit.
I do believe that there are dogs out there that just have the temperament that they don't want to deal, and when they're done dealing, they just bite. I don't see Hoss. Hoss has never showed aggression toward anyone, other than if he doesn't know you and you come in the yard. It's just like Justin said. There was no. For me to overreact would have been senseless because there was nothing, there was nothing it could have been done at that point. It was done. We just have to move forward. Also, I knew the dog bit. Here, put your hand in. Uh-oh. Where'd it go? We knew the dog bit, so it was a calculated risk every time he was out and she was over there. So, when he bit Lexi the first time. For the longest time, he never messed with her. No. If she came toward him, he would go to the other room. I think as parents, we have to be smart, but we also, we have to be realistic. And it was just, unfortunately, a couple of people called it because they saw her last Tuesday in the video, I think it was.
Oh, yeah, the house tour.
Yeah.
And then Trey shared it on the Milo about getting rid of him, on asking if anybody was looking for, to adopt a dog, and everybody was commenting. So we thought, Trey called and was like, well, it might be a good idea to explain to him what happened. But it was hard for me to make a video because it's, I don't want people thinking like we're torturing Milo and that's why he bit the baby, or the baby was punching Milo in the face, or, you know what I mean?
Milo was a very loved dog all the way around. He was very loved.
What made it bad, Dad was tearing up and stuff, I didn't want the dog. And then we didn't threaten freaking lawyers or any of that kind of crap or whatever. It's a decision on Mom and Dad made the decision.
If they would have decided to keep the dog, that would have been okay too. Yeah. I want to be clear on that. Now, I would have made sure the dog was caged before Lake came back over because we really got lucky this time. She won't scar from it, but usually if a dog bites, he will continue to bite. It just is a matter of time. It was completely their decision. We never once
that's like
made them feel like they had to.
Yeah, taking their kid away, and that's not a good situation.
No, not at all.
But that's what we wanted to update everybody. I'll get the camera off the tripod and show
also, there's a couple of things Cindy wanted us to tell.
Oh yeah, on TheBellLife.com, it's taken a little while. This is all a new road for us, but the password reset button on the website on TheBellLife.com is now working. So if you forget your password,
be patient. Once you reset it, it does take a couple of minutes for it to calculate in the system. We're hoping that gets faster. It's just we had to go through a bunch of security stuff to get that to where it works properly. And then also, so be patient when you reset the password. Give it a couple of minutes to refresh, and then go back in. Also, if you're having issues with like your page not loading or you're not being able to see videos, always keep in mind that to clear your browser, so your cookies and your cache off of your browser. If it gets too full, which is your computer, how often you look up stuff. Yeah.
Come here.
Come
here.
So do that to make sure that everything is running clean. And then also, Cindy was telling me that
she's hungry.
She's mad. So Cindy was telling me that if you don't properly put in the BellLife, so if you accidentally leave off the L,
she's done.
Okay. It's okay. You done now?
Basically, we're getting at that. The password reset's working on the website, and
Well, this is an important one. If you leave off an L or you misspell the BellLife, somebody has put up a virus on a different website. So you know what our website looks like. Please don't go in and answer any questions or click any buttons if it's not our website. So
yeah, it's TheBellLife.com.
yep.
But you want to go in there and get her?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
go
am.
on.
You want to finish this off?
Oh, let me show her face real quick.
Well, her face is fine now.
I know, that's what I was going to show you what it looks like now. It's been about a week or so. Is that how long it's been?
Yeah, she pulled all my oven mitts out.
Let's see. See your face.
Oh, so pretty.
So it's, you see, it's healing good. And then he got her up in the eye a little bit too, but she bounced back quick.
All right.
But we'll see here. Thank you all a ton for the support. It really means more than you know. And it's kind of hard to make the video because I was worried about people, thinking we were hurting a dog, or we made mom and dad do this, or why did he get rid of the dog earlier, and all these different things. But I just wanted to come on and tell you exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. But thank you all a ton for the support. She's good to go. Took her to the doctor. They said she'll live.
Take her to the doctor.
I'm just kidding. We didn't take her to the doctor. She's fine. But subscribe here. Subscribe to Ask the BellLife. And then check us out on TheBellLife.com. That's where all of our comedy stuff's at. And comedy videos that, our original BellLife got deleted off of YouTube. And then, what else is it? Oh yeah, we're still running 30% off the merchandise on the website. So get you some way you can. And I'm either going to have to puke again or crap. I'm not sure what it is. But thank you all more than you know. We appreciate it.
Have a good
bye.
night. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Wait.
Bye-bye. No, she don't. She's too entertained with calls.
So you need
Bye-bye.
to say bye?
No, she won't do it.
Hey, no, she's ready to eat. Have a good night, all. See you.
Bye.